Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is The Code. It was written by Chris Lackey, and it's part of a collection of scenarios entitled Mansions of Madness, Volume 1. It's available from Drive-Thru RPG. Our game master is John Hook, and this is Episode 2. Our recap will be given by Philip Greeley as his character, Ethan Donnelly. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Phil?
I was on the production floor talking with Walter P. Chrysler when a Western Union telegram arrived and interrupted the meeting. It was from the physicist Dr. Kenneth Connolly, my friend from Harvard and a fellow lieutenant of the 6th Massachusetts Infantry during the war. I remember now like it was yesterday. It was July 4th, 1917, as he and I walked down the streets along with the other American servicemen from the American Expeditionary Force, down the streets of Paris. They had been in the war since 1914. Millions were dead. The women yelled and threw flowers at us as Blackjack Pershing rode his great stallion in front of us. They revered us as demigods and treated us like heroes. 6 months later, I lay in a shell with my ear blown off, blood trickling down my face, with my friend, Kenneth, Kenny, Big Brain, we called him in the unit, also wounded in the foot. But now, this telegram, my memory coming back, he bid me to come to his Wellington estate to see an invention that would change the world. But he said in a following letter to trust no one. He listed a code. I wrote it down and memorized it. And he specifically mentioned not to trust anyone, including and especially Elizabeth, or who this person is, I do not know. I picked up Rain, Judge Rainier Mesnin, another friend of Kenneth and mine from Harvard. And then we ran into Driscoll Chip Wallace, the financier and trust fund martini admiral, as well as the professor of geology, Dr. Reginald Lynch. It turns out that they all received telegrams as well to meet at Wellington, his ancestral estate. Although my additional message with the code seemed to be unique. Driscoll's Rolls and my prototype Chrysler 6 raced down the country roads, much to Rain's chagrin. After arriving, we were introduced to William, a large oak tree of a man that I took an immediate dislike to. My impression is that he's hiding something. In the library, we met Dr. Seamus Quinn, a college friend of Kenneth, and apparently Kenneth was his mentor and a fellow physicist. Also present was Diana Carlson, apparently a high school teacher and a friend of Kenneth's. Rounding out this cavalcade of suspects is the shapely and smart Claire, a reporter. After some banter with the other guests, I heard Kenneth's unmistakable gait in the hallway, but when I opened the door, there was nothing there. After more waiting, William burst into the room to announce that Kenneth had disappeared. After some questioning, William took off to take care of dinner, and we all decided to search around the house. The first room turned out to be Kenneth's workshop. Within, we found 2 suits, apparently the inventions that Kenneth had wanted to show us. I investigated them as well as the plans, which discussed things like gravitational effects, although I needed more time to attempt to understand how these suits worked. Dr. Wallace discovered that the suits have an aperture that measures 2 inches long by 5 inches deep. Dr. Quinn began to read the notes and with some comprehension began to collect Kenneth's designs and notes, an action that, coupled with an insult about my war wound, earned him a broken nose, much to the consternation of all in the room. Rain took off, disgusted with me, down the hallway, along with everyone else, leaving me with Claire, who agreed to help me search for Kenneth upstairs. After checking a few of the upstairs rooms, I was suddenly confronted by a most monstrously impossible creature. A beast resembling a panther made of blue glass with giant claws and light emerging from its maw. I watched as it climbed up the wall and disappeared into nothingness. The sight was so horrifying that I momentarily lost control of my pistol, which discharged around into my shin. I'm now currently trying to stop the bleeding by making a tourniquet out of my belt, while Lucky Strike's cigarette is hanging out of my mouth. May I continue to find and presumably rescue my old friend no matter what the cost.
Nice. Well said.
1 second, guys. Hold on. Sorry.
Yes, well said. So let's bring the camera downstairs where Chip and Reginald and Judge Rain are gathered. And you guys have just heard a gunshot upstairs.
Oh, dear God, what's that? Let's go see.
Quick, let's get upstairs.
One quick guess is it's Ethan.
We went upstairs with Claire. Hopefully he didn't shoot her.
Oh, you probably did.
Let's go.
All right, upstairs.
So you guys take the central stairs?
Yeah.
The grand central stairs?
The grand
Of course.
staircase.
All right. Yeah, so you race up to the second floor, and there, sitting on the ground, nursing his leg, belt tightened around just below his knee, is Ethan, and Claire is squatting on the ground next to him, trying to assist as best she can. The pistol is lying and sitting by Ethan's hand, and yeah, he's bleeding from the leg.
Looks like Claire shot him. Good.
Yeah. I'll lean over. I have some first aid training, but it's not much. Does anyone else have better? I can try.
Go right ahead.
Did he succeed in the last game, or did he even try it on himself?
We didn't do
Okay.
any dice rolls.
All right. Yeah. So I'll run up and I'll see what I can do to help him. Where's my first aid? There it is. 50.
I'll pick up the gun.
58, but I will spend the 8 luck on it to get stop
Okay.
the bleeding.
All right. So yeah, you can recover 1 hit point, Ethan. Honestly, Judge, the pistol is sitting right by Ethan's hand. He's already collected it. It's just not in his holster, but it's sitting on the ground right by his hand.
I'll put it in my holster.
Is he holding it in his hand though?
No, it was just he had secured it right by himself, right by him.
Well, as I run up to see, dear God, are you okay? I'm going to reach down and pick it up. So, I mean, he's obviously in pain and
Leia.
laying there on the ground.
I look, I'm like, what are you doing? Oh my God, what did you do to yourself?
Yeah, I think I would try to stop him from grabbing the pistol.
Oh, good, we're fighting already.
Yeah, for sure.
As he makes that move, I'm like, calm down. You're going to open the wound more than it already is. And I'm trying to
So due to pain and due to your receiving and probably focused on the first aid that you're receiving, I'll let you each do a dexterity test. But Ethan is going to have a penalty die on his dexterity test. So whoever can have a greater success can snatch the gun.
Okay.
Well, then I'm not wrestling him for it. I'm just saying.
No,
Ethan,
it's just
that's who got to it first.
whoever has the fastest hand.
36 out of 50.
I got 47 out of 50. So we both got a hard, but I mean a regular, but
Okay.
he got a better one.
Yeah.
Not that I
So,
don't trust you, Judge, but it is my
Ethan, just
handgun.
give me the gun.
No. Put it in
Yeah,
my
you've
holster.
already shot the gun. You're in somebody else's house. Give me the gun.
Claire, are you all right, darling?
I am. It was. I don't know what happened. It's quite startling.
Well, if you were aiming for the heart, you went a little low.
Well, there doesn't need to be any guesswork. I can tell you all exactly what happened. A panther made of glass came out of the wall, looked like it was going to attack me, and then walked up the wall and disappeared.
My God, I think he's going into shock.
It's shell shock.
No, I thought I heard something downstairs. It could be that I did not see what I think I saw, but I know what I saw.
Driscoll, what were you saying?
Does he mean like one of those little glass blown animals that I've seen decorating diners and things?
It's shell shock.
1,000 times the size, and it was not shell shock. I know what I saw.
Ethan, you're seeing things and you're shooting guns and you're punching people in the face in somebody's house.
Claire, please go to the nearest water closet and grab me a towel of some sort. I need something to stop the bleeding.
I'll admit I haven't been feeling well.
Claire says, sure. And you see her take off for a door that's near some windows. I actually don't know which way is the compass, so I'm just going to call the top of the map north, but that might not be correct. Actually, I think it might be east, but I'm not really concerned about it. Anyways, she runs over to this door that's near a bank of windows and runs inside and grabs a towel and comes back.
But she knew where the bathroom was. Curious. Judge, you said you saw something earlier as well, didn't you?
I saw William, but
didn't you see a wolf leg downstairs?
No, I saw what looked to be some sort of wolf leg. It was only for a split second. I mean, it was odd, but I feel like maybe I was drinking a little too much of your Manhattans.
Drinking. We've been drinking. Has something been put into our alcohol?
Why is seeing William bizarre? He is downstairs. How would that be?
Drinking more than all of you, and I'm not seeing anything.
I saw a different William. I saw William disheveled, ragged, and attacking me with an axe. He chased me out of the room, and he buried the axe in the floor. And by the time the other guys got to me, there was nothing there.
Where is the William that we're used to seeing?
He's in the kitchen. He's in the kitchen, cooking.
Why don't we resume our search?
Well, I don't think we're doing anything. I think we need to get him downstairs. Once I get him secured with the towel, we can probably move him downstairs, but I'm probably going to need some help.
Yeah. Get you downstairs onto a divan, and then we'll continue the search. Surely if Kenneth is around here, he's heard the gunshot.
Where's the other young woman that was with us? Diane?
She's downstairs with
Seamus.
With Dr. Seamus, who is
Quinn.
got a bloody nose.
They were recuperating in the parlor where you
Dr.
all
Quinn.
initially met everyone.
As I'm taking care of Ethan's leg, I'll look over to him like, Ethan, please, at the very least, put the safety on.
The safety is on, I assure you.
What if it has something to do with Kenneth's experiments? What if there's a gas or something that's causing us to hallucinate?
Hallucinate? Oh.
Wouldn't it cause all of us to hallucinate?
Well, you just haven't hallucinated yet.
But so far, from us four, there's 3 out of 4.
I think that it's wise that if you see something unexplainable, it's probably not real.
Claire's right here. Claire, have you seen anything odd or hallucinatory?
Did you see the giant glass panther?
She was in the room.
Yeah, she looks a little sheepish at Ethan and then shakes her head and she says, "No, I did not see it."
All right, let's get this man downstairs, and then we'll see what is it, the parlor where everything is in. We'll see what we can do from there.
Well, it doesn't take 4 of us to take him downstairs, even
No,
though.
No, but I appreciate
No.
one more help. We can each
I'll
grab a
help
shoulder.
you. I'll help you, Reginald.
All right, and we'll bring him downstairs.
All right, Claire, would you like to accompany me downstairs?
Don't put too much pressure on it.
Why don't you look through these other rooms on this level with Claire? We're still trying to find Kenneth. He could still be lying on the
I
floor
know.
having a heart attack.
This is just a flesh wound. It's okay.
It's not a flesh wound. You
shot yourself in the leg, man.
It didn't hit the bone. It went through.
No, it's
Certainly.
through the muscle.
I still have to secure the bleeding, so we're gonna get you downstairs and see what I can do to get this in.
Did the bullet go through?
Yeah.
It did. It went through meat. It did not strike bone.
Yeah, we still need to patch you up so that you don't squirt blood all over the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will happily take a quick look with Claire at the other rooms. If I remember from the map, they're mostly around the perimeter of a big hallway anyways.
Well, it's also the 3rd floor, so.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Oh, well, I don't know if I'll go up to the 3rd floor, but a casual look of the rooms on the 2nd floor.
Jesus
I'm
Christ,
sure-
Driscoll, do something for a change.
I'm sure Miss Claire will keep you safe.
All right, we're going to take Ethan downstairs.
Ethan downstairs.
Excellent. So just as a reminder, I just wanted to point out that, or Claire, Claire lets you know, she points out, she says, we've already looked at these rooms here. And so on the map that I have displayed, it's rooms 3, 4, and 5. So they checked out those 3. And then the creature that Ethan was attempting to describe, it seemed to have disappeared into the corners of the walls, right where rooms 6 and 7, junction and where they meet. And then the water closet, the restroom that Claire ran to for that washcloth, is up here in the corner, room 8.
So there's really just 2 rooms to look at, 6 and 7.
Yep.
And then there's like a large seating area by that bank of windows that looks out over into the backyard of the house as well. But anyways, so you've got so it sounds like Judge Rain and Reginald kind of support Ethan so that he can walk with as little pain as possible, and you guys begin to descend the grand stairwell in order to get Ethan to the parlor.
Well, it seemed like there were a lot of places to sit in the parlor. So
there are many
Yeah.
places, to include Shay's lounge chairs, so you can totally get laid,
Prop his
lay
leg
back
up.
and
Yeah,
bleed all
exactly.
over that furniture. So should be fine. All right, so Chip.
Yes, sir.
Chip, so we're gonna let those folks head downstairs, and we're gonna keep the camera on Chip and Claire.
Claire.
We're gonna keep the camera on you guys, and so she slips her arm around yours and kind of squeezes, and she goes, "Oh my, well."
It's my wallet.
and she goes, "Aren't you the funniest?"
Claire, should
And you
we,
can, and she, and in addition to holding your arm, she's got another hand that's just kind of patting you on the chest and rubbing on your chest, and she's like, "So where should we go?"
let's just continue this perimeter hallway. We'll look in this room right here. This room next to the last room that you were in. Before Ethan shot the Pather. Room
Right.
6.
So yeah, she goes over to the door and opens it, and you guys go in. Yes, do you follow her in?
Sure, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
suspect that there's anything weird. Nothing has happened weird for Chip yet.
Yeah, no, and so you're in what is clearly a guest room. It has a double bed, and it's got a standing wardrobe, and it's got a dresser, and there's a basin, and so this room is it's decorated. All these rooms, all these guest rooms seem to have like a theme, and so this one has like a winter theme to it. So you can see, little knickknacks, and there's paintings on the walls and things like that. So you might call this the winter room, right?
Very good. A casual look around. I'm not going to root through anything, but in the back of my mind, remember that suit downstairs had an oblong missing piece to the cuff. And I'm thinking that it's maybe some little black box or something. And I'm just scanning the room for it.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
Oh, no, that's a failure.
You give the room a pretty thorough look around, and you're like, no, you don't feel like you've discovered it. You feel like you've given the room a pretty thorough look, and nothing to see here.
Sure.
And so she kind of seems the same way, and
how
she
is
says,
she?
Where to next? Yeah.
How is she acting through all of this? Is she curious?
No, that's a fantastic question. Give me a psychology roll, please.
I was afraid you were going to ask that. Chip is not very perceptive, and he fails that mightily.
Yes, yeah. So she certainly looks like she has the same kind of interest as some debutantes have at certain functions. Some of the more traditional, stuffy kind of functions. So she kind of has that same level of interest.
So she's sort of going through the motions, much like Chip is.
Like Chip is, yeah.
Well, let's go to the next room, shall we, Claire?
Oh,
I wonder how that will be decorated.
Yes, let's try that.
And down the hall and open the door.
Yeah, so you go over to room 7, and you open the door, and this room is much larger than any of the other rooms that you've seen, and even Claire has this look around, as you go into the room. This room has extra furniture, so there's a seating area and a small table, a little side table has 2 chairs around it, and this room looks lived in. Right, this room looks like it's been in use, and it has a it has a king size bed, and a very large standing wardrobe. There's a full length freestanding mirror. There's that seating area, dresser, all kinds of things. And you can even see in one corner near the standing wardrobe are a couple extra extra sets of like orthopedic shoes. And it's just it's one shoe, and it's got like a leg brace that goes with it. But there's like 3 extras of those kind of stacked up against a wall corner.
Certainly. So I suspect this is Kenneth's room. Claire, do you agree with me?
Oh, it certainly seems that way.
Now, Claire, men of science will often keep a journal next to their bed to jot down ideas that come to them in the middle of the night. I wonder if Kenneth did the same. Should we look in the dresser drawer?
And she seems a bit taken. She's like, that's very keen of you. Well, you are more than money. You're smarts, too. I like that.
Why? Oh, Claire, you're too kind. Let's just look in the drawer.
And so go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
It's worse than the last one.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you're looking around. Sometimes though, as you're looking, you get distracted, and so you kind of look off to one side, and there's Claire, and she's got her derriere pointed at you and kind of wiggling it around, and you seem to be looking at that more often than into the dresser drawers, and so
she's purposefully sort of distracting and flattering me.
So she does stop at a moment, and she kind of pats her own chest, and she says, Chip, darling, can you excuse me for a second? I'm going to hit the powder room, and I'll be right back.
Of course, darling. I'll be right here waiting.
Thank you. And so she exits. So my assumption is that you were just checking the the nightstand area by the bed. Do you want to do any more looking?
I think now that I'm alone, I'll give a more thorough look. Around the bed, places where Chip thinks he might hide something. Again, something like an oblong brick or something.
Okay.
Something science fiction-y is what Chip is thinking.
Okay. Yeah, so you're looking around the room. Go ahead and give me another spot hidden.
A success. An 09. That is it's actually a hard success.
Yeah. So you're really giving this look a thorough gusto.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking under the bed. You're like knocking on some floorboards if there's anything hollow. You check between the mattresses. You go and you open up the standing wardrobe, and you're kind of sifting through the clothing. You're checking a shelf up above, and you're coming up empty. You're not finding anything that shouldn't be there, right?
Okay.
So you're in the wardrobe, and you kind of step back, and you shut the wardrobe doors, and off to your right, standing in front of the freestanding full-length mirror is Kenneth, and he's buttoning a shirt. He's buttoning up a shirt, and he's like trying to slip a tie through, and he's looking at himself in the mirror, and he says, "Lizzie, honey, be a doll if you would, please, and hand me my jacket."
Kenneth, I didn't hear you come in.
And he looks at you, and he sees you, and he goes, "Chip!" And he starts to like backpedal, and he's kind of losing his balance a little bit, and he ends up falling ass first into one of those wingback chairs that's right next to the little side table, the little seating area, and so he just kind of lands with a plop in that chair, and he looks at you, and he says, "Chip, what do you? What brings you here?"
Well, your note brought us here, silly.
And he's got this blank look on his face.
Kenneth, we're waiting for dinner. We've been searching the house for you. We're all here. Reginald, Rain, even that crazy bird Ethan drove up.
You are kidding me. What? Everybody's here?
You sent us a letter, a telegram. I must have it. Oh, no, I left it in the car. But you sent us a telegram.
Oh, pshaw, I did no such thing. What are you doing?
Someone is telegraphing in your name, my friend.
Wait a second. And so he kind of gets himself up. He has a little bit of difficulty, standing, sitting, because of his leg. And he stands up, and he kind of clops his way towards you, and he says, "Say this again. What is it? What are you talking about?"
Quickly, Kenneth. Who's Lizzie?
The love of my life. I have wanted to introduce you. I've been so busy with my work, and she's been so critical to it. But I just haven't had time to get my head above water, as they say.
I certainly understand. Is Lizzie here with us now?
Well, yes.
I can't wait to meet her.
Yes, she was just here.
Let's go downstairs. Are you attired to descend to the parlor?
Yes, but tell me more. What party?
I pull up a chair. Kenneth, dear, we all received a telegram asking us to come attend a dinner party. You are going to show us a marvel of science you've constructed. And we happen to see your suit.
And he catches his breath in his throat. He seems to stop breathing for a second and backpedals again and goes, "Say again."
You've sent us a letter, a telegram, to show us your suit, your marvelous invention. There's a pair of suits with a common device linking them.
Common device linking them. Yes. Yes. That would make so much sense. Oh my God. Do you know what this means?
Dinner's closer?
It works. It works. Oh my God, man. Traveling through time is real.
Time travel.
It works. It works.
Kenneth, my friend, let's go downstairs. Ethan's shot himself. It's hilarious. He might have shot a toe off.
Was it David?
Was what, David? No, Ethan, the man.
Who shot Ethan?
He may have shot himself.
Chip, I do so dearly love Lizzie, but I am dubious of her brother, David. I don't know. I'm very confused. Hurry, man! Give me that jacket. Let's go downstairs right this moment.
Right, turn around and get his jacket for him.
Okay, you turn around and there's no jacket on the bed. You turn around to tell him that there's no jacket on the bed, and Kenneth is not there. Make a sand roll.
Yes, success.
Okay, lose 1. So as you're standing there looking at the full-length mirror, or you're not looking into the mirror, you're like looking at the space in front of where a person was standing.
Where he would be standing. As you're standing there kind of staring at that empty gap, the door opens behind you and Claire comes back. And I just turn and I say, Kenneth! Oh, Claire.
And then she has this, queer look on her face as she kind of, tips one hip and puts her hand on her hip and says, "Kenneth, now, I think I have a much more lovely stride than he. Wouldn't you say?"
Certainly a more quiet one. Let's go downstairs and find our friends, shall we? As we continue our search for Kenneth. And then I will sort of take her by the elbow and lead her towards the stairs. And I want to join my companions.
All right. So we'll change cameras. We'll kind of fade to black there. And we rejoin Reginald, the judge, and Ethan as they open the door and start hobbling their way into the parlor. And so Diana is in there with Dr. Quinn, and you can see that Diana has used like a bar towel, and she's there was an ice bucket, so she's put some ice in that towel, and so she's gingerly holding it on Dr. Seamus's face to try and help with the swelling. And they see you guys coming in. And they see you guys clearly supporting and helping Ethan hobble in. And Diana says, "We heard a gunshot. What happened?" And Judge is on mute.
The man shot himself.
Ethan shot himself.
Yeah. The man shot himself. Look,
and Dr. Quinn's, kind of pushes the bag of ice off his face, and sits up forward and says, "Say again."
I kind of point to the hobbled man. I'm like, yes, karma is real. And I kind of get him on the lounge chair.
and Seamus begins to sit back and kind of waves for Diana to reapply the ice. And as she's reapplying the ice, it's not quite muffling the raucous laughter coming from Dr. Quinn. Shot himself.
I'm going to see if I can get something that we can wrap Ethan's leg in. I'm going to head to the kitchen. Ethan, do you want tea?
No, I'm fine with this humble pie.
Right. I'm going to go talk to William and see if I can get. But as I go to the kitchen door, I'm going to be like, if he's got an axe, I'm running.
Okay.
So is it one of those doors that just sort of opens?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I just sort of put it up and I say, William.
And you push it in because it flip-flops both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You push it in, William, and the kitchen is empty.
Well, I'm going to then look around and see if there's a towel or something that we could use.
There is.
And very carefully come back out again, keeping an eye out for William.
And there is an ice box in there if you wanted to get more ice. I don't know what are you only looking for a towel?
Well, I don't think we want to put ice on his wound. We just want to wrap it so that it's not bleeding.
Sure. So, and you want to maybe get some extra towels and stuff?
Yeah.
And in homes this old, there's also a wash. Well, there's an area where you could do some manual wash scrubbing and stuff. So there's a stack of towels, of clean towels. You can get a handful.
All right. Yeah. So I'll grab those and go back.
Okay.
Keeping an eye out on both sides for William to jump out of the shadows with his axe. Something is very strange going on here.
Give me a spot hidden, if you would, please.
98.
All right.
So I'm looking very carefully in that corner, but whatever it is over there.
Yeah. So you're looking in one direction and you're walking towards the parlor. So you're crossing from kitchen to parlor. You're looking in one direction and you hear a sound that almost your mind equates it immediately to cicadas. You hear like cicadas, and you turn, and there's nothing there.
What's that? Cicadas. What time of the year is this?
Good question. No, I believe, if memory serves, it's April 3rd. Let me double check. Because our telegram will tell us exactly. Right. April 3rd.
Okay.
It is April 3rd.
It could be cicadas outside. But that's weird. Right. So I'll continue back to the lounge.
Okay.
The parlor.
All right. Yep. So you're back at the parlor, and you can bandage up Ethan's leg enough to where he feels confident to put weight on it and to walk around. No additional hit points are recovered, though, because you've already had your one hit point from first aid.
Also,
don't
you walk guys around on it too much because it'll just open up the wound again.
Well, you've tried to tell Ethan stuff like that in the past. He just doesn't listen.
I want to find my
because
friend.
He's only got one ear. See where I'm going with that? See what I'm saying?
Hit him,
punch the game master.
You have to say things like that standing on that side of him so that he can hear what I'm saying.
As I finish up with him, I'm like, I'd feel better if you had a cane so you can keep it on.
Reginald, I appreciate your medical attention. Thank you, my friend.
Here's Driscoll. Driscoll, did you go up to the 3rd level yet?
Gentlemen. No.
Any sign of Kenneth?
Gentlemen, I have some cigars in my Rolls Royce. And I think it is time that the four of us went and had a cigar in the driveway. They're very good cigars. This would be a very good moment for the four of us to go have a cigar.
I could use a cigar. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be okay. I could take a minute.
I indeed have cigars in the car.
I'm going to use this kind of a cigar because it's the only one I got.
And if we're if we're not stopped,
Claire says, "I love cigars."
Darling, I only have 4.
Girls don't smoke cigars.
And then, hey, that's a perfect opportunity for you to show me your checking book or whatever it was that has your name on it. Remember, we discussed this in the hallway. Do you agree that that would be something you
as he's talking, I put my arm up on Ethan's shoulder. I'm like, Ethan, let's go out and have a cigar, please. We'll worry about this upon return.
Claire,
to have a secret
Claire, of
conversation.
course I will bring you back a cigar. I have more than 4 cigars.
And I look back at Claire. I'm like, Claire, go in the parlor.
So Claire just kind of goes, "Fine, you boys have your little oopsie-doo together. I'll just have another glass of wine." And she saunters over to the bar cart. She does stop momentarily to kind of check in on Dr. Seamus. "Ooh, are you okay?"
Come on, Ethan.
At the car, I indeed have cigars and I hand them out. And then I light them. And as I'm being dramatic and clipping the end and puffing on this big, thick cigar, I say, "I found Kenneth."
You found Kenneth. Where is he?
Really? Where is he? And why didn't he come down with you?
Gentlemen, I want you to accept something that I'm going to say now, and I don't want you to question me. Kenneth has discovered the secret of time travel.
Okay, he's had too much to drink.
There's got to be something in the air.
Gentlemen, he's been working on time travel. It has to do with those 2 linked suits. Elizabeth is his love interest, a woman that he's met and has fallen in love with, and David is her nefarious brother that he does not trust. I suspect somewhere, somehow, in the slipperiness of time travel, Kenneth has been lost to us. And the Kenneth I saw upstairs was, let's call him yesterday's Kenneth. Today's Kenneth, who knows where he is?
I want Ethan to lose 1 sanity as he is overcome with an epiphany. In fact, it startles him so much, he has a little bit of trouble standing, but he grabs onto the vehicle and reasserts himself. And he says, "Ethan, you suddenly remember there's an addendum to that letter that you received. Everyone received the telegram. Only Ethan received a handwritten letter. And you've burned that letter, but now a memory starts flooding into you as new words are added to that letter that you have destroyed, and you're now remembering those words. And those words are, in addition to the postscript, the PS, there was a PPS. And Kenneth says, "I will be hiding my diary in the blue room under the false floorboard." And you are inexplicably of 2 minds. You have a clear memory of the letter that you've received. Now that memory, you can actually feel that memory rotting inside your mind as it's being replaced by a new memory that includes this second PPS about his journal being hidden under a floorboard in the blue room.
Wow.
And so that crawling memory is enveloping your brain right now.
Ethan, are you okay? And I kind of lean over to help him as he looks like he's about to faint.
So if he's figured out the secret of time travel, why is the suit still here?
An excellent question, Judge. Rain, that's why you're a judge and I'm a billionaire.
Millionaire, probably.
Probably right.
I don't think that we're billionaires yet.
Millionaire.
We need to go to the blue room, and his diary is under a false part of the floor.
Did you see a blue room upstairs?
How could you know that?
Because he's literally writing this message in the note that we burned that I showed you guys in the car, because he's in the future adding on to the note.
You mean he's in the past adding on to the note?
Yes, if he already wrote it, that would be the case.
Probably after Chip saw him, he realized this problem and wrote it, extending more information, including where the diary was located, to help us.
So
Well, I haven't been upstairs. Is there a blue room?
There's
The nautical room, right? Wasn't there a nautical room?
There was
a nautical room, but it was more of like a teal green.
Oh, okay. So we seen the blue room?
You have not discovered a room that you would define as a blue room.
Gentlemen,
Must be on the third
here's the
floor.
problem that we have between us as a group. I am of the opinion that the people who are currently in the house are part of the problem. And you guys don't believe me when I tell you that I believe one of the women is Elizabeth and that William is actually probably her brother. And we need to identify the enemy.
But this is the first time you've said that to us.
No, remember I confronted William. I was suspicious of him when we first ran into him.
Oh, I thought you were just being
But you'd never met him before. Why would you be suspicious?
Because I can tell by the way he won't lock eyes with me and the way that he is in general nature a suspicious person.
Okay.
He won't even look at me.
Before we
But the most important part is I asked her to show me some identification with her name on it so that we could at least rule her out. And she agreed that she would show me that.
even in the
Claire
regard
that we're talking about, the reporter.
even in regards to looking for possible enemies in regards to whatever Kenny has got himself into, it's probably in our best interest to find where this journal is, find out what it is, and find out what it is with the machine. If there is indeed enemies of Kenny inside the house, I feel very much uncomfortable leaving them inside with his technology. So it's probably in our best interest to get inside and find everything sorted.
Which is exactly what. I'm sorry.
He's having another
Doorbell.
PTSD attack. He thinks there's doorbells and dogs and things in this.
Matt, go look for your hat.
Got it.
This is crazy. I'm going to get cicada sounds.
Apologies.
We
All
should.
right.
That's
I
cool.
found my hat, baby.
But can't we all agree that the 2 seconds it will take her to go to her purse and show us identification, we can at least eliminate her as Elizabeth.
When he's saying this, I put my hand up on your shoulder, Ethan. I'm like, Ethan, my friend, I know I've just met you today, but we must learn the art of subtlety if we are dealing with those with a nefarious intent. I understand your goal, but if we do not tread carefully, they may become aware that we are now wise that there is indeed enemies in the house.
He tried to steal Kenneth's work. While we were right in front of us, he was taking all of his designs and all of his writings.
He attempted to look at it, and though I do understand
No, he
protection.
grabbed it and tried to leave the room with it.
I don't remember him
Well,
leaving the room.
that
Oh,
was
yes,
the
he
other
did.
fella, not William. The other, I can't remember now who you've punched and who you haven't, Ethan.
No,
The guy
there's-
that attacked him with an axe. You know,
I haven't
that guy.
had ill feeling towards Quinn. Quinn may be a physicist that simply has his own personal addendums, but the way that you're talking, whoever Elizabeth and David is, they are definitely someone who might be a little bit more involved, and I don't think Quinn might be that individual. He might simply be a friend of Kenny's who wishes to, yes, like any other fellow scientists would see interesting data and say, I must absorb this information. I'm not too worried about Quinn, but your interest in the others does merit some interest
Game
in terms
Master.
of investigating.
Well, an innocent. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
John, when I went into the kitchen, was there any cooking going on?
Yeah, there was unattended pots and things boiling away, and yeah.
So I say to them, I guys, when I went into the kitchen to get the towels for your leg, Ethan, William wasn't in there. Things are cooking, but nobody's in there attending them. So I think you might be onto something. What if we don't know these people?
But we must tread carefully. If
But
they
it
are
is-
indeed those with nefarious designs within that building, we need to make sure that they are not wise to us knowing this, and so that we can
Well,
operate.
do they know that we're looking for an Elizabeth and a David?
I
Yes,
think
I've
Elizabeth,
yelled at several times that
not
who
not
is Elizabeth?
not David. I believe you only mentioned Elizabeth.
Yeah, but if it's Elizabeth, she knows she has a brother. Let's
As-
find the
as-
diary. Let's find the
Can
diary.
everyone please give me a spot hidden?
And
And if you are successful, tell me how successful.
I got a 100.
I got a hard.
08 heart.
All
Hey,
right,
Failed.
failed.
I hear Kenny in the woods.
Chip failed because he punched Reginald in the eye. No. So you guys are having this very intense conversation in a kind of a huddle by the cars, and Judge Rain and Ethan are kind of positioned in a way, and they look up, and actually I want to kind of share something with you guys if I may. So my assumption is that you guys are standing kind of near the two vehicles near the bottom of the circle drive. You know, maybe y'all parked your vehicles next to those, and from this distance, you guys, Judge Rain and Ethan, caught a glimpse of someone moving through some of the tall grasses and stuff, moving in a direction that would have taken them from that barn shed kind of building towards the backyard area of the big house. So you've lost sight of them, but you just saw them momentarily kind of loping and kind of, you know, in a half jog, moving, you know, in that direction towards the back side of the house.
There's somebody over there. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
They're moving towards the back of the house.
What, can we approximate size?
Yeah, you had a good enough, you know, although quick, you had a good enough look that both Judge Rain and Ethan assumed that it was William.
Shocker.
So maybe he was
That's a
getting
shock.
something from that building. What is that? The barn? The
Yeah.
garage?
And actually, Chip looks at it, and it reminds Chip of an old stable. Looks like an old stable.
You want to
Father's
take a
got
walk
one
over
in his
there?
mansion.
Do you want to take a walk over there?
Sure.
Why? Because you think you saw.
No, I saw it too.
Because I don't know what that building is.
Listen, I'm gonna go inside and
Please.
try to find this blue room. That's what my goal is right now.
I don't think you should go in there alone. If
I'll
one of
go
those-
with Reggie.
All right, so let me and Chip take care of inside the house, and you guys go investigate the outside.
All right, Ethan.
Let's swing by the bar first.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, so as you guys are splitting up, Reginald and Chip are heading towards the front door to go back inside. Judge and Ethan are starting to head towards the old stables. Claire comes out onto the front steps. She's holding a wine glass, and she says, "Boys, come on back in. Let's keep looking." And then she waves at Reggie and Chip as they're approaching.
Yes, yes. I believe Mr. Wallace wants another drink.
Chip, call me Chip.
Ethan and I are just going to keep walking towards
Claire, I'm going to freshen this up. Can I get you something? And I did bring you a cigar.
Oh, well. Just and she takes the cigar and then slides it into your breast pocket, and she says, "Keep this warm for me."
Absolutely. Why don't you attend me at the bar, and then I'm looking over at Reginald. We will go to the bar.
Okay, and Claire is kind of resisting, and she says, "I'll catch up to you." And she wants to start heading down the steps to kind of follow Judge and Ethan.
Oh, Claire,
I believe you've had enough adventures with Ethan, darling. You'd probably best come inside and have a little drink with us.
Claire, what's your hurry?
Oh, no hurry. I'm just, I am so infatuated with Ethan, don't you know?
Oh, is that so? What do you like about him? The missing ear? The shooting himself? Which is it that really tips it off?
It's his brassness and boldness.
Interesting. Why don't you come into the parlor and tell me more? I have influence with Ethan, you know.
You will need to persuade her to do so.
Okay. I only have a 10 in persuade, but I rolled a 13. So I'm going to spend the luck.
Oh, nice.
Well done.
Regular success.
Well done. So she thinks about it, and she's like, okay. So she does kind of come and slips her arm around yours and walks in with you.
And I am going to guide her directly to the parlor, past the stairs. And as we go, I want to kind of wink
and I go up the stairs.
Yes. Reggie.
Smooth as
silk. All right. So Reggie peels off and starts heading up the stairs, and Chip and Claire start heading for the bar. So let's move the camera to Judge Rain and Ethan. You guys have crossed the gravel area, and you've gotten to this. It isn't a barn. It really is a stable. So it's like horse doors and stuff like that. What's up, Judge?
Old stable, huh? No, I'm smoking my big cigar.
I thought I was used to attention here, please. Okay,
just shaking my cigar.
All right. So yeah, what do you guys do?
Listen.
Yeah.
Okay,
wow.
Give me
what a shocker. Fail.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have us do a roll?
Well, Ethan said he was going to be listening.
Oh, okay.
At the door.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't hear anything, Ethan.
I look at the judge expectantly.
Looks like it's an old stable. I'm just kind of curious why William would be over here. Let's walk towards it was the back of the barn, correct?
He did seem to have come from the rear of the barn, and then he was transitioning to the rear of the house. So he was, he clearly did not come out the front door of the barn.
Right.
Let's move back there. Maybe there's.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay. So you guys circle around to the rear side, and sure enough, there's instead of like a barn style, there's a person door, right? There's a person door back there.
I'll try it.
It is unlocked.
All right, I'll open it up. Take a look inside.
Yeah, it's dark. It's dusty. There's all kinds of there's areas where hay would be baled and stored, and you can see rows of stalls in here. You can see there's an area, that holds, writing equipment. Also down the center aisle of this, because the stalls are down the sides,
Right,
like
right.
there's 4 stalls down either side, and down the center aisle, parked end to end, are 2 really old antique tractors that look, they look pretty old. They look way past their usage.
Is there lots of cobwebs and things
Lots
like
of
that?
cobwebs, and yeah, it's
So I
it's
look at
pretty.
Ethan and I go,
Is there a loft?
There is a loft as well. Yes.
Can I look for tracks in the dust before he and I start moving around in there? I want
I've
to
gone
look
in there.
down
It's
and see if I
filthy.
can see William's heavy footfalls in the dust.
Okay. Give me a track roll.
yeah, I ain't gonna go in there. It's filthy. This is my best suit.
Yes, you are dressed for dinner.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Okay.
Well, I am gonna I guess start looking around just to see if there is another door or a hatch, maybe something in the floor, some sort of trap door, like
All right,
there are
so
in cellars.
it sounds like, tell me if I'm wrong, it sounds like Judge is going to stay outside of the stables. He's at the doorway. He's looking in. It's old, it's dusty, it's dirty, it's filthy, and he's in nice clothes. Ethan, are you doing the same? Or are you plowing in? Are you going in?
I wouldn't say I'm plowing in. I'm cautiously moving into the room with
Okay.
my flashlight. I'll turn my flashlight on and just kind of scan to look for anything.
Remember,
Okay.
if there's cobwebs in that way, he couldn't have come from there
Well,
because the cobwebs
I
would
don't.
be.
He didn't say that there were
I mean,
cobwebs.
the cobwebs are up in corners. They're not obstructing your your entrance.
Yeah,
This is not Shelob's lair.
Okay, start looking with my flashlight. I'm looking at the ground, and I'm heading slowly towards the loft.
Okay. Yeah, so you're looking around. Go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
19 success.
All right. Yeah, you look around. You don't see anything on the ground. You see the ladder, and it is a vertical ladder to get up into the loft. It's not a stairwell. And then the loft area, has some open space. So obviously it's not OSHA regulated, right? There's no handrails or anything, so you can see fairly easily up into the loft. And so you're playing your light up. Sorry if you can hear my dog. You're playing the light up, and as you look up, Ethan, and Judge, you are in no position to see this. Okay,
I can't see it.
but Ethan, as you play the light up, you see these 2 figures standing up there, and these 2 figures, they seem insectoid. They seem to have segmented bodies and a segmented insectoid head with giant compound eyes and antenna that seem to move independently. They seem to have multiple pairs of arms down the sides of their body, and they seem to be holding some kind of strange device. It's a rod about it might be half a meter in length, and 80% of that rod is got a soft ruby glow to it, and they're holding it at the other end, and just kind of letting the ruby glow section kind of they're holding that out in front of them. Make a sand roll, please.
So I can see Ethan suddenly probably go.
You see that?
As
Yeah.
he sees, yeah.
That is a fail.
Okay. Let me get to them. Roll a d6, please.
1.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this thing kind of freaks you out a little bit. And so the two creatures, you hear like the sound of cicadas, and then they back up, and they back up into a section of the loft that is now out of your sight. You can't see them now.
Ethan, what's wrong? What's up there?
2 giant insectoid creatures with some sort of alien technology in their hands are in the loft. And they're also making cicada-like sounds.
Come out. I think we need to get you to a sanitarium.
Aren't you the one who told me that somebody attacked you with an axe?
Giant insects. Come on. But I did hear cicadas.
Come, listen. We're here to help our friend. He could be up in the loft. I'm not going to walk away.
Something we got to get back to our friends and discuss this because something very wrong is going on.
I see that there's the possibility that they have Kenneth up there right now. He could die if we don't do something. I'm armed and I need your help. Hold the flashlight. Don't worry about your precious suit. I'll pay for the dry cleaning. Jesus Christ.
All right,
I thought you were a courtroom judge.
I'll go in.
All right.
Yeah, and you don't need to pay for my suit. I make plenty of money, but
I thought you did.
What you're saying is preposterous. But I'll grab the flashlight.
Okay.
I'll head towards the
You're already
ladder.
wounded. Be careful.
Yeah, thank you.
So do you ascend the ladder to get up into
First,
the loft?
I want to stop and be completely quiet for 5 seconds with the judge right next to him and listen for that cicada sound, in the air.
Okay. You guys can give me listen rolls if you so desire.
I hear something.
I'll spend 5 luck to make a listen roll.
All right. So with that listen roll, you guys hear the ceiling, the roof boards creaking and squeaking with the wind blowing.
Okay. But not a cicada noise?
No cicada noises.
Okay.
Describe this loft to me. How high up is it?
So it's probably like a 15 feet up
15
off the ground. And then the roof line up there is probably another 10, 15 feet of roof line up there as well.
It's like a barn.
The building is probably, 35, 40 feet tall. So
the problem is that tactically, this is a bad situation for me because assuming that they are some sort of creations or aliens from another world, they'll get the drop on me. I'll be completely defenseless as I climb the ladder. You don't have a firearm and probably couldn't shoot mine worth a damn anyway, even if I gave it to you. So you're right about one thing, Judge. This is not a good situation tactically for us to be in. I don't know what to do here other than get the rest of our party and bring them here and get the numbers.
Well, like I say, let's go back and talk to them.
Agreed. I'll back out of the barn.
all right. So we'll move the camera and let's take it to Reggie. Reginald, so you are hiking up the stairs.
Yep.
You round up to the second floor. Do you want to stay here or keep going?
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay. So you keep running and you ascend up to the third floor. And if I may, momentarily here. So here you can see the third floor. And so as you come up, you can see that there's a seating area against that bank of windows that looks out to the backyard. and you can see exactly like on the second floor, an array of doors, in this area. And in that one corner, you can see that's where the servants' stairs come up. But also in that area near the servants' stairs, there's a red velvet rope that comes out of the ceiling, and that rope is kind of swayed and anchored to the wall, and the rope is, on the ceiling. It's tied to what is clearly a square up in the ceiling.
Alrighty,
So you can see those array of rooms marked 3, 4, all the way around to 3, 9. You can see the servant stairs are 3, 1. That thing in the attic is 3, 2, and then the seating area is 3, 3.
So I'm gonna start from 9 and work my way around.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk over to the door over by that seating area. And as you walk over there, give me a spot hidden.
Spot hidden. Fail, 89.
Okay. So you walk over to the door and you open it, and you can see that room 9 there, labeled as 3-9, is a water closet. It's a restroom.
Yeah. All right, move on to the next.
Okay.
Talking to myself, I'm like, dear Lord, Kenny, what have you gotten me into?
All right. Yeah. So you go over to 3-8. Hold on, just for a second. So you go to 3-8, and this is a fairly large room, and this one, due to all the decorations and stuff that are in here, this is serving as like a double, almost like a bunk room, with bunk beds and stuff, so that maybe a ton of kids could be housed in here if need be. And so this room has what you would coin a summer design to it. So we're going to call this the summer room.
Okay. I take a quick look. I don't see much of the blue that I'm looking for. If I don't see anything
so your intention is not to do any kind of thorough searches or anything. You're looking for the blue room first. The blue room, and then from the blue room you want to kind of do some looking around, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna have you kind of doing that, but in the meantime, while that's happening, simultaneously we'll bring the camera downstairs then, and to focus on Chip and Claire as they re-enter the parlor, and you can see now that Dr. Quinn and Diana, Dr. Quinn's nose has finally stopped bleeding. You can see there's a few wadded up cocktail napkins shoved up into both nostrils of Dr. Quinn's nose, and he's got some major bruising that's starting to swell and darken under his eyes. They are exiting the parlor, and they're starting to head back towards the library.
Other than the obvious, is everything okay?
Oh yes, I'm just I'm feeling I'm feeling sorts again, and thought I might spend some time looking at and kind of reviewing that strange device that's in the library.
I think that is a capital idea. In fact, I think those notes might still be tucked away in there.
Yes, I just dropped them on one of the tables, and I think it would be important to at least review and see what Kenneth has been working on. It's clearly fascinating.
Clearly, and I agree. I think you're just the man to do it.
Yes.
And
Well,
I'm keeping half an eye on Claire to see how she responds to this.
yeah. Give me a psychology.
Oof. I was excited for a second, but it came up 100. So I don't even see Claire.
Yeah. You totally didn't notice anything, and so they go, good luck to you, and Diana and Dr. Seamus or Dr. Quinn continue on to the library.
All right, I'll go to the parlor and to the bar cart with Claire, I hope.
Yes, she's in tow. And so she's kind of looking back. She goes, that is a very strange device in the library. And she says, did you notice that there seems to be a piece missing on the left gauntlet?
I'm stirring my drink. Dangerous game we're playing, aren't we, darling?
Oh, indeed it is. It seems to be getting even more exciting with every passing moment.
How much longer do you think you can go before it all falls apart in your lap?
Why, I can go all night.
Provided your brother assists you. But what happens when we remove him from the picture?
Go ahead and give me another psychology roll. I'll give you a bonus die on this.
Ooh. That's not going to do it, John. Chip's oblivious.
Look, I can lead a horse to water, but I cannot make him drink. So you kind of throw that out there about her brother or whatever, and she just kind of, I'm afraid I don't catch your meaning.
Oh, what I mean, my darling, is I suspect you are posing as someone else.
And you can almost hear the organ in the background going, dun, dun, dun. And she just kind of chuckles and goes, I think you may have had maybe one too many drinks, Chip. We're not living in some kind of Agatha Christie novel, don't you know?
Claire, and I'll use your name for now, that name, Claire. I had one too many drinks 10 years ago. I am not going to get upset at your ruse, but Ethan is going to get extremely upset at your ruse. Perhaps I'll call him in here.
So she takes a drink of her wine and she sets it down and she leans in and she gives you a kiss on the cheek. And she says, you are so very cute, but so very delusioned. Ta-ta. And she turns to leave.
I'm not going to chase her down. That would be ungentlemanly.
Okay. So she exits the parlor.
I wonder how Reginald fared.
All right. Reginald. As you were continuing to look, so you were kind of going in a clockwork, rotation around that third floor.
Yeah.
And so that large room was a summer design. The room right after that, it had really no central theme, except it was just like a green room. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then, as you came around from the room after that, this one, it really had a design kind of dedicated to polo. Okay. And then so as you kept going and you got to another room beyond that, this one, it had a design that is this one is dedicated to astrology. Very strange, very cutting edge. It isn't until you come all the way around and you're in that you open that door, the last one that's right next to the area contains the servant stairs and contains that velvet rope that's hanging from the ceiling. You know, it's next to that. And in that room, it's a blue room. You go in there and it's clearly a blue room.
I smile and I'm like, thank goodness. And I kind of just rush in there and kind of look on the floors for a false floorboard.
Okay. Because you know what you're looking for, you can't miss it. So as you kind of get under the under the bed, and you're sliding your hand under the bed, one of the floorboards, the instead of it being flush, the lip is up slightly. And so your hand hits that pretty clearly. You're able to wedge that up, and sure enough, out comes this leather book. And it's wrapped in a rubber band.
All right, I'll pop it open real quick and see what's inside.
Okay. So there's a bunch to read in here. Do you take the time to review it now while you can?
I guess you'd call it. I'm just doing a quick shuffle and see if something sticks out. If it doesn't, I just put it in my jacket and start moving my way downstairs.
Okay. There, you can see there are several pages that seem to catch your eye. You can either take the time and start reading it now, or you can go and take it and do it something else.
It depends. I really don't want to do a full explore, but if I could take like 5 minutes to just sit down and take a skim through, I'll do that. Okay,
let's do that. So, in an out of character sort of way, if there's one drawback to this scenario, it is the quite lengthy handout.
Oh no.
Handout. This is a multi-pager here. So put on your hip waders, you're going in deep here.
Alrighty.
So
before we do that, can we take a 30-second break?
Let's take a 30-second break.
5 minutes later.
Alrighty, I'm ready to rock. Ready?
All right.
Alrighty. May 5th, 1924. Just moved into the old house with Elizabeth. Still have some unpacking to do. It's great to be back. I had some wonderful summers here. I'm excited to start construction of the device with Elizabeth. She's truly brilliant. I love her so much. May 15th, 1924. Elizabeth have had some amazing insights into our work. She said that she gets them through a special ritual, a meditation she calls it, and she's persuaded me to do it with her. And now something has happened. I've seen something. No, I've seen many things. Elizabeth's occult studies, they've given me a new way of thinking. I don't know how to describe it. The beginning, I touched something. A mind? A being? A concept. I don't understand it. She called it Yog Sothoth, though that is the only way of looking at it. I need time to think. May 16th. After a good night's sleep, it's clicked. I understand. We were going about this all wrong. I can't work fast enough. May 30th. I love Lizzie so. We are laughing so hard this afternoon. I'm so lucky to have her. June 9th. Our initial experiments have been an amazing success. I can't express my joy. I think we can do this. Lizzie wants me to do the meditation again. She says it would help our work move more quicker. I can't wait, but I can't. It just doesn't feel right. Frankly, I'm scared. We're working through snags. We're coming up with solutions. I just don't feel like I need to do it again. I wonder how often she has done these meditations. July 22nd. I've had the most disturbing experience of my life. Some friends of mine appeared at the house. They are from the future, and something is wrong. I should be worried, but mostly I'm excited. The device works. I told them where I'm going to keep this journal under the floorboards of the southeast corner of the blue guest room. I will hide this from Lizzie, but I'm sure they are wrong about her. July 23rd. I've asked Lizzie if she has any siblings, and she said she was an only child. I wonder if my friends were mistaken. July 25th. Major breakthrough. We've discovered the best way to temporally travel is through thought. Today I was able to peer into the past. It was when the house was being built. Must have been 1830 or so. I saw the workman. It was so real. I should be able to move through space as well, but it's hard to get my mind around that. Lizzie suggested the meditation again, but I just can't bear the idea. We're making progress. We don't need it. October 5th. Things are moving slowly but steadily. November 12th. We've had an unexpected visitor. Lizzie's cousin David. He has come to stay. She never mentioned him before. He's very charming, but a little strange. I guess Lizzie is too in her own way. My friend said to expect a brother, but a cousin? Is she lying to me? David is going to be with us for a while. I don't like it. Our work can be quite dangerous, and I don't want him getting hurt. This all seems a little too convenient. I'm starting to wonder if Lizzie is deceiving me for some reason. January 3rd, 1925. Overheard a hushed argument between Lizzie and David. I don't know what it was about, but they seem to be trying to keep it away from me. Keep it from me, sorry. January 23rd, fighting again. Still not sure what's going on. I feel like Elizabeth is hiding something from me. I'm starting to not trust her. Hold on. I thought it was a good idea to put security on the device, so I installed a code input system, alphanumeric. Only I will know the true code. Something like this cannot fall into the wrong hands. February 20th. I purchased a handgun in town. I do not trust David. I know just having this gun might lead to drastic measures, but for now, it's solely for insurance. March 14th. Caught David snooping around the library. He says he was looking for a book, but I don't know. Can't trust him. I don't think he's her cousin. He might have something on her. Blackmail? I don't know. I wrote a letter to one of my old friends I saw in July. It contains the code, a safety measure. Is that if I'm in danger or something goes wrong, I want someone to be able to fix things. March 29th. Today is the day that I test the machine. It's a small step moving 10 minutes into the future. I've noticed a few strange things, but it might be due to lack of sleep. Mostly strong episodes of deja vu, but more disturbingly shapes of people. I'm not sure if it's me or possible temporal feedback. We'll investigate further. And I believe that's the last entry.
Very strange. So, Reggie, you're up in the blue room.
Yep.
And thumbing through this alone.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I kind of just get up. I'm like, now I'm worried. I'm gonna the floorboards that were on the floor. Can I pick one of them up like completely off the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. How big are they?
It's probably a 3-foot length of flooring.
Okay. Yeah, I'll feel good with this. I'll hold this in my hand and start making my way downstairs.
Okay. So you open the door to the blue room.
Yep.
And there in the hallway, right there in front of you, prowling around are 4 gray wolves.
I will slowly back up and close the door.
Okay. Yeah, you close the door, and as the door is closing, the wolves kind of look at you, and they start to snarl and growl. And you just kind of, okay, nice puppy, and shut the door.
Okay, I think I'm stuck up here. I guess I'm gonna explore the room a little bit, see what I can actually, if there's anything out here I can use. Up here.
So let's pause there. As Judge Rain and Ethan are entering into the house. What do you guys do?
Immediately start looking for everybody.
Okay.
See where everybody is.
Where do you look for them?
Well, the parlor would be the first place we go.
Okay. All right. So you guys head over to the parlor, and inside the parlor is Chip.
Hello,
Chip.
lads.
Hey,
Chip, where is Reginald?
Reggie. He went upstairs looking for the blue room. I confronted Claire.
and
I could not break her defenses.
well, let me tell you a story. And I tell them what I saw in the loft. And they were holding what appeared to be the object that we've been searching for. maybe the power supply for one of the suits. It was glowing on its own, and the only thing that does that, unless it was luminescence, you know, some sort of powder or whatever, but it appeared to be a source of energy. Maybe the source of energy that we need.
Of course, the thing that they were holding was far bigger than the 5 inches by 2 inches by 1 inch deep thing that, you know, that void in the glove.
Yeah.
The thing that they were holding was, you know,
It's like a staff.
yeah, it was like a short staff. Yeah.
Right.
Almost
wait,
like a
there's
baton.
extraterrestrials in the stable?
Here's what I think. I think that when he opened and he changed the rules of physics, when he began to time travel, he got their attention somehow. And that there's other players, I don't know, the Kaiser, for God's sake, could be organizing this. There's no way to tell who the players are. But I can tell you this. We need to look at the simple fact that we need to find the blue room and see if there's more information in that diary. Because I'm the only armed person, and I can't take on, who knows, they might have some sort of, I don't know, ray guns that could evaporate me or disintegrate me.
It would stand to reason. Well, Reginald went upstairs to look for the blue room. I'm afraid that I may have tipped our hand to Claire,
well,
indicating that we're on to her game.
What do you think, Rain?
I'm very confused.
Well, can I suggest a simple thing? Can we proceed with my plan of confronting her about her identification? Can we just do that?
Before we look for Reggie?
After we find Reggie, and then we'll confront her about her identification. How's that?
Of course, Ethan. Now, she was awful keen to run outside and follow you and Rain. And you find her slippery brother, William. Or David, or whatever the hell his name is.
Well, he's in league with the insect men. I can tell you that. That's what he was doing in the barn. He was probably consulting with them. If he's not one of them, I mean, we don't even know if they're human. We have no idea what they are.
The insect men likely aren't.
Well, yeah, that stands to reason unless they're in costumes, which I find hard to believe that they'd be standing in the hot barn dressed in costumes. But you know what? This entire thing, including you, and I point slowly at Rain, and I point across, you could all be figments of my imagination, and I could be strapped in an sanitarium just like I was the last time that I came through the PTs.
Well, Ethan, why don't we casually go upstairs and look for Reggie?
You go there. I'm going to go into the library where the professor and Diane.
By yourself? That's crazy.
Well, are we all going? Why don't we just get a big belt and wrap it around us all? Reggie's upstairs by himself, for crying out loud. What are we, babies?
He's probably
Go.
doomed.
Just go.
All right, Ethan, why don't you and I, you're armed. You go upstairs and I'll go with the judge.
Agreed.
Oh, my.
I'll start heading upstairs.
Just because Driscoll doesn't want to walk up the stairs.
Didn't you get attacked by a man with an axe? Didn't you just tell me that, or am I making up that?
I told you that we might all be hallucinating.
Right,
you saw a giant panther made out of glass. Come on.
And 2 insect people.
Yeah, this is not rational.
But I do know people.
Insect people are
and
more.
I'm telling you that
I didn't
that
see
Claire
the insect
is
people.
Claire and William. Like I've been saying for hours now, they are part of the problem, and you're going to go in there.
Well, how do you know that it's
unarmed.
not Diana and Seamus?
Because nobody could be as droll as Seamus and not be a Harvard professor. That's why. I know that laugh
Except he's in there with the machine and the papers.
anywhere. I did my undergrad there. He's legitimate. But anyway, I'll start heading up the stairs. I do like Driscoll's idea.
Yes, and we'll go into the library.
All right, so who's going where?
Driscoll and I are going into the library. Ethan is going upstairs to find Reginald.
Okay. So we're going to move the camera as you guys split up. Ethan is hobbling up the stairs, and Rain and Chip are heading for the library. Reggie, so you opened up the door, and there are these gray wolves, walking around, and you're like, oh my, and you just kind of slowly shut the door as they are snarling. You definitely get the door shut and latched, so it's fully shut. What do you do?
All right, so my first thing is to look around the room.
Okay.
What can I use? What's this room look like? Now I'm looking for details because I already knew where to look before with the false floorboards.
So you turn around from the door, and on the other side of the room, near the window, near the wardrobe that's standing there, you see Kenneth, but Kenneth has no skin, and he's just this raw, bloody, red musculature of a person. His eyes, there are no eyelids, so these bulging white eyes are staring out at you. His both arms come out, and he screams, "Save me!" And you see this like black vortex behind him, and it's like pulling him in. You see the blood that's seeping off of his skin is being pulled into this black hole behind him, and he is just like stretching into eternity as he's falling backwards into this black hole. Make a sand roll.
Yeah. What's my sanity? Oh, pretty high, 70.
You thought the wolves were bad.
Success.
Okay. Lose D3 plus 1.
D3 plus 1. 2.
All right, and so yeah, piece by piece, Kenneth is torn apart and sucked into this black hole. You feel nothing from this gravity well. You don't feel anything, but he's just torn to ribbons, and then the black hole just kind of shoop and disappears.
I kind of sit there like, oh my God, Kenny. Oh my God, I kind of just sit there like amazed for a second, and I move towards the corner of the room slowly and see if I can make heads or tails what the hell I just saw.
Yeah, no, the room could use a dusting, but
I touched the wall where the thing was, and I'm like,
and your fingers, drag along. You can feel like air bubbles under some of the wallpaper.
yeah,
it's dry and brittle under your fingertips.
Jesus. I go back to looking around the room for something for help.
Okay. Are you looking for a weapon? Are you looking for...
If I can find a weapon better than the stick I have, yes, absolutely.
So go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
90.
Yeah, you don't find anything of that seems like it would be helpful other than this 3-foot long board, but you have to use 2 hands to hold on to it, so.
This is a bedroom though, right?
This is a what?
A bedroom?
It is a bedroom.
I'm going to take the comforter off the bed.
Okay.
And just kind of keep it with me. If I can throw it on something, I will to distract him.
All right. So you pull the comforter off. What do you want to do?
I go back towards the door, and I kind of just listen out there, put my ear to the door and see what I can hear.
Okay, give me a listen roll.
Listen roll. Nice, 16. Success.
Yeah, it seems you're pretty sure it's quiet out there.
All right, I'll crack the door open to smell.
Okay. So as you're cracking the door open, you see Ethan approaching the door.
Oh, Ethan, be careful. I saw wolves up here. You're muted.
Okay, out comes the gun.
Oh, God, he's going to shoot you.
As I say that, I'm kind of peeking around the door, just kind of like seeing if I can see the wolves. But I'm like, I just saw wolves just a second ago, and I kind of look in it.
No need to convince me. I saw insect people over at the loft in that building that we went to. So I'm having as much fun as you are. But did you find the diary?
Yes, I have it right here. Is there anything in the hallway, or are we good?
We're
There's
good.
nothing in the hall. In fact, when Ethan says insect people, that's what, that's a much better description of what you saw downstairs, kind of walking away with the weird Z formation segmented leg.
Right.
Is like a
Insect.
giant insect person.
Okay. So that's what I saw downstairs.
Look,
Look. And I'm holding a 2x4 and a comforter in my hand.
our Rain wanted to go with Driscoll, the two of them to confront the other characters of
Ethan.
this adventure here, or whatever this dream is that I'm having that we're all in.
After I'm sure for a second that everything was safe where we are, I kind of just put my hand on Ethan. I'm like, Ethan, I just saw Kenny. I think he's dead. He got pulled into. I saw him skinless, and muscles, and he got pulled into a vortex. It literally tore him apart. He yelled to save him, and I couldn't. He just disappeared, and that's it. I don't think he's on this plane anymore.
Well, the problem is that if he is going into the future and he's going into the past, and all these things are happening, I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but I do think that just because he dies in one future doesn't mean that we can't stop him from dying in the future. I mean, maybe we can change it.
Maybe,
if we can rescue him.
Maybe, but if what I saw it is, that's my old. That's
Well, let me tell you a secret. William is not leaving this facility alive, if I have anything to say about it. And I am going to make sure that those insect people get killed as well.
Okay. Bold words.
Are you on board finally with me, or do you still think I'm imagining all this?
I definitely do not think you're imagining this, but
Let's find some guns. He has to have some guns around here somewhere.
I pulled the journal out a little bit. I'm like, he mentioned he bought a gun. It might be in his room.
Let's go look.
Okay. As we're going downstairs, I mentioned I'm like, I'm okay with a gun if you need a second gun.
Can you answer me? Did he ever have skeet as a hobby? Was he part of the gentleman that did skeet shooting? Typical Harvard East Coast skeet shooters.
Kenny? Who are you talking about, Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny. Did I know him to shoot skeet as a hobby? Okay, yeah. So we need to find his skeet guns. Shotguns would help us with those insect things, that's for sure.
Well, so, he specifically mentioned he purchased a gun because he felt danger for his life in his journal here. So he might have another pistol in his room. I don't know about the skeet shooting, but I know for a fact he must have another gun somewhere.
Okay, let's take a look.
All right, so you guys head down the central stairwell to the second floor, and where from talking to Chip, you know which room is Kenneth's bedroom, and which is 2-7 on that map. And yeah, go ahead.
I stop and I say, Kenneth, if you can hear me, write in the journal where you've hidden the gun.
Nothing.
It might take him time.
All right, let's keep looking in the meantime.
Okay.
We'll check his room.
All right. So, yeah, you go into the room and go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
Yeah. Nice. 09.
Ethan?
85.
Damn, hard success.
Okay.
Nice.
Close to extreme. One off of extreme.
Good job.
Fantastic. So, yeah, Reggie, you and Ethan go in, and Reggie, you're very diligent. You're checking every corner, in between mattresses, things like that. There's no pistol to be found. There's no shotgun to be found. But Reggie, as you stand up, you glance out the window, and you're a little bit taken aback at how dark it is outside, and all of the heaping drifts of snow all over the evergreens, all over the yard, everything out there.
My God, it's spring. Why is it snowing? And we have
That's-
not been here for hours. I pull out a watch. I'm like, we haven't been here for that many hours. What? Like I just sit there.
It's probably something the machine, some gravity or some field that happens when he travels through time. It's probably distorting stuff around us. But there has to be some sort of room, like where there's billiards tables and shotguns and all of his hobbies. But
Well, I would assume that would be downstairs in the parlor if you're talking in that sense, but there was nothing like that.
did you guys check the entire downstairs?
Yeah, we did. I don't
Is
think we
there
saw.
isn't there another floor above us?
Well, I checked the third floor, but I kind of rushed through it to find the blue room.
Let's go check better on the third floor.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys head back up the central stairs to go to the third floor, and we'll move the camera to Judge Rain and Chip as they go into the library. As you guys enter into the library, you can see Dr. Quinn is seated on a stool at one of the tables, and he's drawing his finger down some pages as he seems to be trying to absorb what's going on. And he looks up at one of the chalkboards that are they're on wheels, right? And the whole board flips over, and so he's looking at some equations that are scratched out on the chalkboard, and clearly Dr. Quinn is just trying to get his noodle around what's going on in here science-wise, and Diana seems to be helping out to a small degree as she's kind of there checking a few things out, whatnot.
Okay.
But no Claire, just the two of them.
Just the two of them, no Claire.
Does Diana seem to understand any of the complex math or anything as she's assisting him, or she's a teacher, but she's probably not going to know calculus.
Yeah, she has some, there's some basics, but she's definitely, in fact, she's kind of a sounding board because Dr. Quinn is kind of like talking to himself. And so it's almost like he's in a classroom setting where by instructing and kind of, vocalizing to Diana, it's helping to, have those thought processes and thought patterns align in his own head. And so they're just having a conversation about physics.
Dr. Quinn, can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, certainly, Judge. How may I help you?
Did you, when you arrived at the house, who was here before you?
Claire.
Claire. Was William here?
Well, yes, William's the manservant.
So Claire and William were here before you arrived. But Diane wasn't.
No, Diana, and she says, I showed up just a little while after, as I believe. He goes, yes, it wasn't too much longer.
All right. Have you, while other than the punch to the nose, which I apologize for, have you experienced any weird things in this house?
Well, I don't think I follow. And yes, other than the unfortunate assault earlier, I do want to speak to you about pressing charges. Don't you know?
I understand. We can talk about that later. Ethan's a World War I vet. I'm sorry, Great War vet.
There's more than one.
Yeah.
Time travel.
Yeah, time travel. Do you understand any of this? What does it look like it's pointing towards?
if you're asking for my professional opinion, I think it's pointing towards an illness. These are flights of fancy. I can't see how any of this is plausible. And he's using a pencil, kind of tapping at the brass on it. This tink tink tink. This thing is just it's a decoration.
You don't think that this is the device that catapulted Kenneth forward in time?
Well, time travel is a farce, a fancy. It's science fiction, if you will. But
so were light bulbs to Camelot.
We have been experiencing very odd things in this house. We have seen Kenneth. I haven't. Driscoll saw him.
I saw
but it wasn't Kenneth from today. It was Kenneth from possibly months ago.
Yes.
I saw William, but it wasn't the William that we saw in the morning. It was a disheveled, damaged William from the future.
Yes, future William.
I think that our Kenneth has ruptured something in his attempt to time travel, and he has caused some sort of a... Is there any equipment in this room that is doing something?
And yeah, I mean, you guys can do a spot hidden, or if you have a science-based skill, maybe that. Maybe physics or
that are turned on. I'm looking for lights or something that's glowing.
None of the equipment, none of the scientific equipment in here seems to be illuminated or running. There doesn't seem to be a generator. There doesn't seem to be any kind of electrical field being generated at all.
All right. And is there anything that it looks like you could put a code into?
It does not.
Nothing like that.
Missing device, Judge.
Probably. I'm not saying this out loud. I'm asking the GM. Something very strange is going on here, Doctor. And we're trying to get down to the root of what it is.
Just call me Chip.
Chip, everybody.
And Quinn, Seamus kind of looks at Chip and goes, "I think he was addressing me, sir."
Oh.
And have any of you seen William?
And Doctor, in your experience, has the rending of time ever produced alien extraterrestrials?
Driscoll, none of this has ever happened before.
Present day, Chip.
He thinks it's science fiction.
Diana says, "Let me see if I understand this. You've spoken to future William and past Kenneth, and there are disturbances in the time."
It may be even
yes, darling. Yes, keep going.
That Driscoll has caused a bootstrap paradox. Something he said to Kenneth caused Kenneth to create a time machine that caused ultimately Driscoll to go back in time and give him the idea. It's an uncreated moment, which is a paradox. Which came first, Driscoll or Kenneth?
So in a way, this is my invention, you're saying?
Diana says, "Sir, if you're not feeling well, I do have a mild sedative in my bag in the parlor. I'd be more than happy to get it for you if you'd like."
No, we do think that we're all. It's getting crazier by the minute. When this starts to occur in front of you, that's what's happening. Somehow we have created For all we know, the insect men are here to stop the paradox. And no,
Insect
Driscoll,
men.
it wouldn't be you, because you couldn't have done that without the time thing already existing.
Oh, it's tricky logic, this time travel.
It's an impossible logic.
I wonder if there's a gun around here.
Keep reading the papers. See if we can figure out a way to stop this.
Certainly. Yes, we'll continue our studies if you think that would help.
Yeah, it's the only thing we've got. Obviously, Kenneth invited you here after he talked to Driscoll, which means that you're here for a reason.
I see. Okay.
You're the only physicist here.
And that is true. So what does Chip and Judge want to do as Dr. Quinn and Diana settle in to continue their studies?
Drink.
Where, Judge? Where is Claire?
I
Sneak.
don't know where the fuck Claire is. Sorry, for my
Oh, your lawyer language is coming out.
my Laura language, yeah. My old lawyer language.
Let's find Claire.
All right. So Judge Rain and Chip leave. I want to keep the camera here if we can. Where do you guys want to go?
I'm not so sure that I want to go look for Claire. We saw William going back towards the kitchen. I want to check the kitchen and see if he's in the kitchen.
Go to the kitchen.
Besides, that cooking food is driving me crazy.
All right. So you two leave the library and head for the kitchen. Okay. So as you go into the kitchen, as y'all walk into the kitchen, there are two of these insect men standing there, and as they see you guys, you kind of seem to startle them, and they begin to screech in a cicada like cadence. And both of you give me SAN rolls.
All right. 90.
0-5. Nothing phases Chip.
Nothing phases Chip. He loses 0. Roll a d6, Judge.
Here we go. 3.
Okay. What do you guys do? So these creatures,
Oh,
one
close
of
the
them,
door like this.
one of them is holding this rod about 2 foot long, and most of it is glowing. It's like a crystalline rod, and it has a ruby glow to it.
Is there any way these are men in suits?
You don't think so?
No. I immediately slam the kitchen door and I hold it closed. And I'm
wait. Is there a boiling pot of water?
Well, you'd have to go past them to get to it. Yeah,
Wait,
they're right there.
they're right there.
I'm
Oh,
just
yikes.
like, Ethan's right. I hold the door closed.
All right, so you back out and shut the door.
I guess we do.
All right. So as you slam the kitchen door shut, that's where we will pause tonight's game.
Bugs in the kitchen.
Got a roach
Roaches
problem
and
here.
dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome.
He invited us for dinner and he's got a roach problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Our players included Matt Ryan, Philip Greeley, Jesse Aponte, and myself, with John Hook as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.